Many people use LinkedIn hoping it will help their career or business grow, but often it just feels like a waste of time. This is especially true for professional service providers like accountants and bookkeepers who spend hours trying to connect with others and make their profile stand out, only to see little to no results. The platform is crowded, it's hard to get noticed, and all that effort often doesn't seem to pay off. So how can you actually make LinkedIn work for you without it taking over your entire life? Well, we've got an episode that might just change the way you think about LinkedIn. Today, we're talking to Ashley Leeds, also known as the 15-minute guy. Ashley's a legend when it comes to transforming LinkedIn from a time-consuming chore into a powerhouse, particularly for professional service providers. And with many years of proven success, he's really revolutionized the approach to online networking, showing that 15 focused minutes can be enough to achieve amazing results that hours of effort used to promise. Welcome to De-Stress Your Business, the podcast where we show you how to get incredible results in your business without constant stress. I'm Alexis Kingsbury, a serial entrepreneur and founder at AirManual, and I'm joined by LinkedIn guru, Ashley Leeds. Welcome, Ashley.
Hello, Alexis. Oh my goodness, what an amazing introduction. That's got to be the best introduction ever. So thank you very much indeed. I'm out of here. I'm winning already.
I love that. Well, let's start with what's been your experience that led you to develop your approach to LinkedIn, known as the 15-minute guy.
We're all so busy. All right. Show me somebody that isn't busy. Show me an entrepreneur, a business owner, an accountant, a bookkeeper who's not busy. All right. They're all busy and everything's vying for our time. And one of the things that we do an awful lot is we have a meeting with somebody and we block out an hour because our calendar defaults to an hour. And it's like, I come into the meeting and we spend 10, 15 minutes talking about the weather and the football last night. Then we get down to the nitty gritty and then we waffle a bit and we've wasted a whole hour when all I had was 3 questions. So I started having 15-minute meetings. And this all happened during COVID because everybody wanted a piece of me. I was working for an organization where we looked after accountants and bookkeepers, and it was desperate times. And the only way I could get to see as many people as possible was 15-minute meetings. We get the same amount done in those 15 minutes because we're there with purpose. Okay. So if you want to book time with me, I've reduced it down to 10 minutes now because I really have not got any time. But when someone jumps in on a call with me for 10 or 15 minutes, nobody turns around to me and says, this is ridiculous. You don't give me any time. They're very, very mindful of my time, but they've got utmost respect for me because I'm mindful of their time too.
Nice. So
we jump in on the call. I go, right, bang, bang, bang. All right. And when I'm having a call with someone, if we're really getting on and there's going to be more, I'll turn around and say, look, I'm really sorry. I've got another meeting in a minute. And I use Calendly and it gives me a 5-minute buffer. I'll turn around and say, look, really love chatting to you. Shall we do this again? How about Tuesday at 3:00? Perfect. And then we can take it on. But most often people get what they need in that 10, 15 minutes. And so therefore, when I started teaching LinkedIn, I thought, right, how is this going to have the most impact? And so that's how the 15-minute guy was born.
Nice. And firstly, I should say thank you for providing more than 15 minutes as part of this recording for this podcast. I promise I'm going to be using all of the time that we've got together to go very deep and extract a lot of value from you. But you've helped lots of professional service providers, and particularly I know that a big part of your client base are accountants and bookkeepers, particularly given your background. What are the obstacles that you see those professionals face on LinkedIn? And then as a result, how does your approach overcome those challenges?
Oh my goodness. We definitely haven't got enough time.
I thought the whole point was that we have.
Yeah, and that's it. But the biggest obstacle they've got is time. Yeah. But the other obstacle, all right, for accountants and bookkeepers is traditionally the industry was not allowed to sell. They were not allowed to advertise. They were not allowed to market. So, and it's not like they lifted the ban in 1942. It's very recent. It's in our lifetimes, Alexis. It's not, it's recent history. So there's senior partners at large practices that are like still getting used to marketing. So therefore, here I am running my small accountancy business, and now I have to market. And I think that's another obstacle. There's also the fact that They're number people. So they can't write. And if you're listening on the podcast, I am doing the little things with my fingers because we can all write. And I've gone through my life thinking I can't write because I was rubbish at English at school, but we can. It just needs a bit of practice. But the more you do and the more you read, the more you understand, then the easier it becomes to write. And when I talk to an accountant, they look at me as if I'm speaking a foreign language. But I promise you, accountants and bookkeepers, if you've passed all your exams to become who you are today, you can write LinkedIn post. I can do it. So with all of your, your qualifications, experience and stuff like that, then you can write. And the other thing is they don't know what to write about. Well, sorry, they tell me they don't know what to write about, and they overthink it. So there's a few there to dig into.
Yeah, and those are all ones that I've definitely experienced myself, because I think for a lot of them, they haven't been able to sell or market, and then suddenly they come to it. I think that's true for so many business owners and business leaders, is that most people didn't go into business to be salespeople or marketing people. Otherwise, they'd have gone and got sales and marketing jobs.
Correct.
They went into it to add value to their clients and do incredible things and build a business that gives them perhaps freedom or whatever. And then they find, actually, you've got to be really good at sales and marketing, and you've got to do all of that yourself in the early days. And then even as you grow, sales and marketing are often some of the last areas that you need to be delegating and handing over, because you need to be the face of the brand. And even once you've handed over perhaps the individual sales conversations and sales management, you probably still need to be doing the advocacy and speaking at events and being on social media and so on. So I think it's true that for any business leader, I think many of them struggle with the idea that they've suddenly got to get good at a competency that they're not familiar with limited time to do so, and mindset challenges around, but I don't know what to write about, and I'm not good at writing, and so on. So when you're looking at a client in that position, how do you start to approach that and start to kind of unpick and break down some of those barriers?
Okay, this is the secret. All right, you ready for this? Every accountant and bookkeeper that I know goes networking. They go to business networking events, because every business networking event, they need an accountant and what have you. All right. So these are people that they may be shy, but they'll put themselves out to go to a breakfast meeting or something like that. So once a week, they probably jump in the car, they drive 10 miles, they find somewhere to park, they go in and have breakfast, they spend a couple of hours at the networking meeting, and they get business. Okay. When I turn around to people and I say to people, if you went to a networking meeting every single day, would you get business? And they look at me as if to say, well, yeah, of course, don't be daft. If you think of LinkedIn as a 24/7 global network meeting, then that's it. If you treat it like that, that is all we do. We go to a networking meeting. We met at an event there was networking there.
Yep.
We had a good old chat. We didn't talk just about business. We talked about all kinds of things. Yeah. We made a bit of a relationship. We saw each other at another event, and it's like, it's Alexis. And we had a good old chat. And here I am now on your show. Yeah. That's exactly how it works in real life, in all the other networking meetings that everybody goes to. So why can't we bring that to LinkedIn? Okay. So at that event, the first event, you actually had a speaking slot.
Yep.
All right. So that there is you writing a post on LinkedIn. All right. After you've done your talk, I come and have a chat to you. I'm adding a comment to your post. Yeah. While I was there, I spoke to Chris and Daniel and Tim and Duncan. There was me having conversations with them. That's just other comments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And in those conversations, we talked about, again, all kinds of things. We didn't talk about LinkedIn. We didn't talk about accounting. We didn't talk about Score app and all the different things that all these different people did. We talked about life. We talked about our pet dog. We talked about our lovely wife. We talked about our holiday that we've just come back on because you're looking really brown. Yeah. And why can't we do that on LinkedIn?
Nice. I love that as a lens for looking at social media and specifically LinkedIn, to say, well, actually, yeah, you get networking and you know what's involved there. So now apply that as the analogy and apply it to it, which I think is really, really powerful. In my experience, sometimes it can feel like a quieter networking event. So there are certain When I think about other people's posts that I might see in my feed, there might only be one comment, 2 comments or whatever. Whereas, of course, you go to a networking event, if you literally only had 2 people that came up to you at any point and they said only like one question or whatever, and then you replied and they walked off, you'd feel like this is not the best networking event I've been to. So how do we get good at this? How do we make sure that either the equivalent of the speaking slot, the post, elicits more engagement, or indeed, how should we be approaching the going and commenting and having those conversations? And how do we do a good job?
We're going to play with this analogy all day. I love this. Absolutely love this. So at the end of your talk, okay, you may have said something like, I'm going to be here for the rest of the day. If you want to explore any of this, come and have a chat with me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, come and have a coffee with me. Yeah. So you're already inviting me up to. Yeah. But you might have turned around and given us a call to action. Yeah. Because I do, when I do my talks, is go away and change your photo, go away and change your banner. All right. So I've given you a call to action. And I normally give away a little flyer with contact details for me so you can connect with me on LinkedIn. And I always say, look, if you're stuck, reach out and have a chat with me. All right. So you do that in your post. All right. So what a lot of people do is they go, I've got to create content on LinkedIn, so I'll just tell them something. All right. That's like a billboard, and you want to engage. Nice. So start the post off with a question that hooks the reader in, discuss the issue, and then ask at the end for something. Okay. So here's the thing. Today, right, I create all of my content fresh while I'm in the office. I come into the office and I write. I know what I'm writing about tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Wednesday. I know what I'm writing about Thursday because I'm going to an event, and I know what I'm writing about Friday. I know what I'm writing about Friday every single Friday because I do a gratitude post. So every single Friday, I turn around and I say, thanks ever so much to, and we need to get a photo of you and me doing the thumbs up because I will give you a shout out on Friday. So this morning, I didn't know what I was going to write about. And I generally write my post at about 6:30. All right. So I'm starting to think about it coming up to 6:30. And then I'll write it, and it goes out between 6:30 and 6:45. That's the time that I have found right for me.
Yeah. Nice.
That's not right for everybody. That works for me. Okay. I got there this morning at 6:30. And oh my goodness, it's nearly 6:30. What am I going to write about? I didn't have a Scooby-Doo. Alexis, I didn't have a Scooby-Doo. So I grabbed hold of my phone and I looked at my photos. And in my photos, yesterday or the day before, I made myself some French toast. Okay. So I sliced up, I got an old bread roll out of the freezer. Okay. Trimmed all the freezer burn off, sliced it up, soaked it in egg for an hour while I went for a walk, fried it off golden brown, loads of fruit, loads of yogurt, little drizzle of maple syrup. And when I put it on the plate, it looked beautiful. So I took a photo of it.
Nice.
Okay. And so then this morning, I thought, right, I could use that. And my post today was about my breakfast. And people turn around and say, oh, I don't want to see someone's breakfast on LinkedIn.
Yeah, you've finally done it. You've succumbed, Ashley. Yeah.
Well, no, because I often do that because it's a great talking point. But how can I turn breakfast into something that's engaging? Okay. So I've had 2,000 views of the post and 104 comments. Nice. All right. It's gone crazy. All right. For my standards. Are you what you eat? This is the start of the post. Are you what you eat? Question mark. So there's a hook there straight away. Yeah. All right. Then the next line is, I'm wondering if I'm eating the right things to start the day.
Interesting. Yeah.
This was my breakfast yesterday. All right. I've got people thinking now. And people are now thinking, oh, you should be eating this and you should be eating that. They've got an opinion. So they're going to come on and comment. So I then turn around and I said the plate consisted of blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, French toast, a dollop of Greek yogurt, and a little drizzle of maple syrup. All right. Protein, carbs, and fruit. Okay. And a bit of sugar. And then a smiley, the emoji with me banging my head. Any nutritionist got any views? So I'm inviting people in that know stuff about food. Okay. I guess it's not just me, eh? So that's me turning around and going, you probably struggle with, are you eating the right stuff as well? So I'm bringing you into the conversation. Am I doing the right thing? What else could I do to make it better? And what do you eat to start the day? And that was it. That was my post. but there's lots of
Nice.
things going on there.
Yeah.
All right. And so some people are going to look at that and they go, why? What's the point of that on LinkedIn? All right. But if you
Agreed.
go to a breakfast meeting, Alexis, I bet you talk about the horrible piece of bacon that's burnt to a cinder, or the
available at the networking event.
or the beautiful black pudding. Because the last time I had black pudding, it was hard, and this is beautifully cooked. And those eggs with the dark orange yolks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hang on, you're talking about breakfast at a breakfast meeting?
Indeed. So as a result, what we're saying here is, firstly, I love the fact that you've taken us through that post and shown us how you make it engaging, how you elicit response. Because I think as soon as you describe the start of the post and so on, I think everyone starts to build an opinion, whether it's don't worry about it so much, or whatever works for you, or no, that's a terrible thing for you to start your day with. Everyone's got an opinion on it, and so that starts to come out. I think, as you say, then the reaction is, well, hang on, how is this possibly helping Ashley's business when, you know, he does LinkedIn stuff, he's nothing to do with nutritionists and whatever, he's getting a load of nutritionists basically saying stop eating sugar, which he probably knows already. Oh, what's the benefit? And I like your point on, well, firstly, let's not pretend like if you're at a networking event, all you do is go out there saying, hello, I provide accountancy services. Hello, I provide accountancy services. Did you know that
you wouldn't stay at that meeting very long, would you?
No, indeed. And it doesn't elicit the conversation, which comes back to the point of, okay, so how do we get that? But then just to underline it, yes, it gets the interaction. Yes, at the networking event, we'd absolutely talk about breakfast or whatever. What if we were to then draw a line under where's the business benefit that you would then anticipate, say, from example, for that post? Paint me either an imaginary picture, or even better, if you've got real examples that have either come from that post or others, where something that seemingly doesn't link to LinkedIn, in your case, actually resulted in you having meaningful conversations that could lead to sales.
Brilliant question. I was at an event. I was doing a talk at this event in Herefordshire, and I was trying to demonstrate the difference between a business post and a personal post. Okay. And I put the two posts side by side on the screen, and I turned around to the audience. What's the difference? And you know, they're shouting back, yeah, one's a business post, one's a personal post. Exactly. And I then turned around and said, all right, hands up, everybody who likes reading a business post. Okay. There was approximately 100 people there. How many people do you think put their hand up saying that they loved to read business posts, or they preferred to read business post to personal post? That was the question, preferred.
Oh, I expect it rounds to zero. I would have thought
there was two.
Two, there we go.
There was two. Yeah. So basically 2% of people on LinkedIn, all right, want to read a business post. Everybody else is reading about breakfast. All right. Now, here's the thing, Alexis. If you were going to purchase LinkedIn training from anybody, who would it be from? And I'm not putting you on the spot, but who would it be from?
Someone that I know, like, and trust.
Absolutely. Yeah. Who you know, who you like, and who you trust. Same with the accountant, same with the bookkeeper, same with everything. Okay. I was at an event, and I had this guy sat opposite me, and we were talking about the know, like, and trust. And I said, you know, that's like, what car do you drive? And he's like, what on earth has this got to do with LinkedIn? And he said a Mercedes. And I said, so you went into the Mercedes garage and they were really nice to you? Yeah, perfect. I said, what if they weren't? What if they treated you with contempt? Would you still buy the Mercedes? And they're like, no, of course I wouldn't. I'd walk out. I said, right. And you'd go to the BMW garage, and the person in the BMW garage would take you in, offer you a nice coffee, maybe give you a back rub, show you the leather in the new car, right? And treat you really beautifully. And you start to know them, like them, and trust them. And that's the whole idea of using LinkedIn. Okay. So my breakfast post this morning, people are getting from that I like cooking. I eat healthily. I don't take myself too seriously. I take good photos. Do you know all those little things that's going on in someone's head? Oh, I like Ash. He likes blueberries. Or I like Ash. He likes, you just see what I mean?
Yeah. It's
and then we start making a connection with people.
That's awesome. So I can see as a result there becomes two immediate benefits. So one is you to further the know, like, and trust. And as a result, particularly if someone engages with that post and then they see another post perhaps a few days later or weeks later or whatever, but then perhaps it is more business focused, or maybe it's not, but they're building that relationship with you. And every time they have an interaction, if it's positive, it puts you more likely that at the point that they have a need, they'd be up for example, if you reached out to them directly, more likely to take that call or to accept that message or whatever. I guess the other side that this puts emphasis on is something that you provide such great advice on, which is how do you make sure that someone, despite the fact they've read about your breakfast, is aware of what you're really about from a work perspective, so that you don't just become Ashley Leeds, the breakfast guy, because what you don't want is, of course, that they engage with all your personal posts, all the, like, oh, blueberries and whatever. And then finally they reach out to you and go, by the way, Ashley, I've been loving your content on social media. And you say, thank you very much. He goes, right, so I want to ask you a question. What should I be eating for breakfast? And you go, my marketing's not done very well here. So how do we make sure that when people do see us engaging with other people's comment, other people's posts, posting and getting engagement, how do we make sure that people take away the message of, this is what they're about? Ashley's the LinkedIn guy that helps me with LinkedIn training, etc.
Okay, you are going to have to, in the show notes, put the link to this post so that people can go and have a look at it, because there's many things going on. All right. I know all this and I've not really investigated it. So this is a great conversation. So thank you. Right. So I've got 104 comments. So that's people having conversations. All right. So if this was a networking event, there's that group of people over there. They're all laughing and stuff. That's an interesting. I want to be in that group. Yeah. There's two guys over there and they just look miserable and they're talking to each other. They're probably trying to sell each other stuff. But that group over there is absolutely amazing. What's going on? They're talking about breakfast. That's amazing. All right. So there's lots going on there. Okay. Here's the thing. I've had people coming in, commenting on it that are not my connections.
Yep.
All right. So brand new people. All right. So those brand new people, let me just go and have a look and see if they've looked at my profile, because this is the key. Yes. Yeah, there's a few people who've looked at my profile as a result of seeing that post. All right.
So, and by looking at your profile, I mean like literally clicking on you to look at your full profile.
Yes.
Rather than just because there's already like your tagline against your name for anyone that's commented and seen it.
Yeah.
But then you've got additionally people that aren't normally in your network have then gone, who is this guy? And
Correct.
To go and have a look.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm just going to have a look now to see if any of those people are now following me. Let's have a look at that, because that would be interesting. So off the back of that post, I've got 2, maybe 3 new followers.
Right.
All right. So then they're going to see more of my content.
Yeah.
All right. But because they've looked at my profile, they've logged in their brain that this is the LinkedIn guy. They've seen my post. They've seen my smiley face. They've seen the yellow behind my face. They've now got an idea of the brand. Yeah. So that subliminally, right? Here's the other thing that's happened on that post today. Somebody commented and said, I've been watching a lot of, and then shouted out somebody that is into health and stuff like that. All right. So that person is giving that person a little bit of a thumbs up. Yeah. And somebody else. So that person has tagged 2 new people. Yeah. Only one of those people have come on and added a comment. So we don't know who the other one is. And there's a couple of, I'm sure I saw somebody else. Somebody else shouted out somebody else as well. And then that person has come on and added a comment. So now I'm looking at this and right, okay. And then all these different people are coming in. So it's really, so here we are over here having this little chat. And someone says, yeah, but I need to do this, and oh my goodness, you need to speak to Alexis. All right. Now, Alexis might be over there, or he might not be here today. All right. But you can find him on LinkedIn. Here's his profile.
Nice. Yeah. So there's opportunities. So we've got so many layers of this, because you've got the initial people that are already in your network and you're building up the know, like, and trust factor with them. Then you've got the people who actually have seen your post as a result of other people commenting that haven't heard of you and therefore haven't connected with you. some of which have then gone on to go and look at your profile and learn more about you. Some of those have then gone on to follow you so that they see more from you in future. And we've then got people that are even further out who are being added within the comments to bring them into the conversation so that they're aware of you, you're aware of them, and you can start having these conversations. So I like this because we're saying actually a big part of it is just bringing that, if you like, using the analogy of the networking event, bringing those group of people, and as you say, looking at where you've got these conversations of people having fun and involving yourself in those as well, because this is before we even talk about how you might then comment and join in on the discussions. And we make sure that your profile, your tagline, etc., is all communicating your brand, what you do, and showing up consistently. As you say, having the yellow in the background of your profile image, which then links to everything, including when you knew that this was going to be a video podcast, you changed. And inspired by that, I changed. So I've got my AirManual top on, and you've got your very famous now yellow top, which I think every time that I've seen you at events, you're always wearing, of course. And so I can see now that we're building that, the brand, the awareness, the know, like, and trust through those conversations. I like the fact that you highlight that, in terms of coming up with content, there's loads of sources, including your photos and your thank yous and your events. And I often encourage people, or in fact, particularly as a result of an interview with Ben Kane in a previous podcast interview, where we talked about like telling stories of work you've done with clients as well as really effective and so on. So there's always these things that should be overcoming people's barriers to like just getting out there and so on. One of the things that I think people then struggle with is, I think you've covered some of the writing aspect and showing how simple that can be, and it's, asking questions is powerful. But I think also people struggle with the habit, the doing it regularly and finding the time for it. Is there anything that you've found works perhaps for any particular of your clients that particularly struggle with that? Because I know that for me, as someone who's autistic, ADHD, there are very few habits that I have at all in my life because I just naturally struggle to put them in place. And even if I know that they're good for me, even though I'll do them for a few days or weeks or whatever, and then literally just forget. And then it's so hard to build it back up. Have you had any clients where they've really struggled with that and yet been able to overcome it? And what did you do?
Yes, absolutely. Can I come back to that? Because I still haven't finished with this post.
Sure, of course.
Okay, because there's a couple of other things here in this post. Because all these people engage with the post today,
yeah,
all right, LinkedIn now knows that they like my post. So the chances are tomorrow when I create content, they might see that.
Nice.
Okay, so that's another bonus. But the other thing is, right, is those people that have been added or tagged in my post, those people that have commented that I've never met before, I could now reach out to them and say, hey, thank you for your comment on my post. There was one guy turned around and said, oh, I have muesli. All right. And I turned around and said, oh, it'd be great if you could tell me your recipe. So I could contact him tomorrow and say, thank you so much for your recipe. I'm going to try that. Yeah. Where do I get brand from or whatever? But I can contact him outside of that in the DMs or reach out and connect with him. And if I reach out and connect with him, hey, thank you very much. Can you connect with me? The chances are he's going to go, of course, I know who you are.
Yeah.
You're the breakfast guy. Yeah. Whereas if I just go on LinkedIn and connect with this person, I don't know you from Adam. Okay. So if you've got a strategy where you want to grow your network, going back to all of those people that have liked and commented on your post is a great strategy to get you more connections. And they are warm connections. So nice. I'm not sure how long we've been talking, but there's an awful lot of things going on with just one post. And I don't think we forget about it. And it's been great today to dig into that with you, because there's some gems in there. There are some real gems.
Yeah, I agree. And I think going through all those different layers helps you appreciate, I think, firstly, how even something as simple as, hey, post about breakfast, etc., how that can generate real results. But also, I think it highlights the opportunities to be able to leverage that even further. Yeah. Because, of course, if you just did that post and then you don't comment and you don't engage in other people's conversations, and you don't send any connection requests to anyone, and you don't follow up after any of those, I suppose that's the equivalent of going into the networking meeting and saying, hello, I'm John. I represent Accounting Services 101. If you require accounting services, please speak to me. And then leaving the room.
Yeah.
And so I think this highlights that you've got to make sure that in your engagement on LinkedIn, doing your 50 minutes each day, etc., that you are not just doing the post, but you're engaging, you're commenting, you're both on your own with people that engage, but also commenting on others and following up and having the direct messages, etc. For a lot of people, it can feel just so much, and it can be difficult to develop the habits that make some of that easy. I personally, with autistic ADHD, I struggle to form those habits. Are there any clients where you've had an experience with where perhaps they were struggling to find that time or put it in place or whatever, and they were able to overcome it? And what did you help them to do that made the change?
Well, this is how I developed my training. It's because it all goes back for a long, long time ago when I was working with this one accountant that turned around to me. I was coaching him, and he turned around to me and said, I could do with some more leads, Ashley. And my name's Ashley Leeds, so he's come to the right place. And I said, right, what are you doing on LinkedIn? Oh, don't use it. Right, okay. So how about if I show you how to use LinkedIn? Because that's a great place to get leads. Right, okay. So I pointed him in the right direction and left him to it. Come back next week. How are you getting on with LinkedIn? No, I didn't have time. I told you that right at the top of the program. So then I turned around, right, okay, so you need to go in and do this, and you need to do that. And he's taking notes, and I'm showing him, and yeah, brilliant. Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, Ash, oh, yeah, easy. I've got it now. Guess what happened when I met with him the following week?
I haven't done it.
Correct. I said, right, okay, look, I think what we need to do is you and me tomorrow, 9:00, we'll just jump on for 15 minutes. And what I want to do is I'm going to share my screen, or you're going to share your screen, and I'm going to look over your shoulder. Okay. And we're going to see what you're seeing, and I'll hold your hand, and we'll do it every day for a week so that you get to the right place. So we go in and we open it up, and there's this screen. I said, right, okay, so log into LinkedIn. And he does this. And he's tapping the keyboard to write LinkedIn into the search bar. And I'm going, you don't even have a shortcut on your search bar. That is, Alexis, that is like, all right, I guess you brushed your teeth today. Yeah. I always get that look as well, because your toothbrush is by the sink. Yeah. No. It's dead easy for you to put your toothpaste on the brush and brush your teeth. Yeah. It's all part of your routine. It's a habit. All right. And you just said earlier, you haven't got any habits, but you have, because you brush your teeth every day.
Not through habit.
Right. Okay.
Only the evening one is through habit. The morning one, I still have to remind myself.
Right, we need to have a chat, but at least you're doing it once a day.
At least you're doing it once a day. Insight into neurodiversity.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely want to have a decent chat. So what I was saying, by not having a shortcut on your browser, it's akin to keeping your toothbrush in the garage.
Agreed. Yeah.
So we found LinkedIn, and then I told him how to create a shortcut on his browser, and then I was like, right, you need to log in. So, hang on a minute, you had to go and find the password.
Oh no!
Yeah, absolutely. And so he's got all these barriers. He's got all these barriers. Yeah, all right. So not only does what he does, he brushes his teeth at night and then throws the toothbrush away and has to drive to Sainsbury's to buy a brand new one the next day. Yeah, and Sainsbury's is 40 miles away, and he hasn't got a car. You've got to make it easy. So we set up the browser. We made sure the passcodes are all in there already. Sorted. LinkedIn, we're in. And I'm going through his feed, and there's a post that comes up with a van, and let's just, the guy's called John Smith, yeah. And I said, right, okay, John Smith. This post has come up because you're a first connection, so you know him. How do you know him? Oh, I do the accounts at his church. I said, oh, brilliant. That's fantastic. So what I want you to do is write a comment on the post. And I said, I want you to say this. So he did this. I said, hang on a minute. And I typed really quickly. I cut it and pasted it, dropped it into the Zoom. He cut it and pasted it and put it into the post. And I said, look, what have you done there? He said, well, I've added a comment. I said, but what else have you done? Not sure. So how is John going to feel now? Oh, he's going to feel really pleased. All right. What you're also doing is helping more people see the post because it's got a comment.
Yep.
All right. You're showing a bit of love to John. You're showing John that you care about his posts. There's lots of things going just by adding a comment. All right. Go back to our networking meeting. There's someone stood at the coffee machine feeling nervous, not sure what to say, not sure who to go. You go up to them and go, hey, is it your first time here? Yeah. Can I introduce you to Alexis? He's a really nice chap. Yeah. And so that's what my client did with his comment on that one post. All right. So we did a few other things. And then the next day we came in and we did a bit more. And then the next day we came in and did a bit more. So basically for 15 minutes every day for a week, we did some LinkedIn. I got him into a habit. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
I'm not sure whether it was that week or, it was definitely that week because John phoned him and said, thanks for the comment on my post. It got me thinking about the accounts for my van business. Can you give us a quote to work with us? Because we love what you do with the church. And this guy got a £1,200 order, client, whatever you want to call it, just from that one comment. All right. LinkedIn works. LinkedIn absolutely works, but you've got to put the time in. And so what you do is you build a habit. And so what I did is I built my training course on that 15 minutes a day. And so at the beginning of the week, I turn around to people and say, right, block your diary out for the next 5 days for 15 minutes so you know what you're doing. But then block your diary out for the next, for the rest of your life. Because if you come in every morning at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, it really doesn't matter when you do it. But if you come in every day at that set time, you do your 15 minutes, all right, you're brushing your teeth, you're flossing your teeth. Yeah. Nice. You're having a shave, all these things that you do on a regular basis. And so you get to 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever time you do it, you go in and you do those jobs. All right. And what I did is I gave them a spreadsheet because I work a lot with accountants and bookkeepers. So, hey, they love those. Yeah. But on that spreadsheet is a little tick box. Have you done this? Yes. Have you done this? Yes. Have you done that? Right. Then I want you to tell me how many people have looked at your profile today. Because to find that out, you've got to go to a specific page on LinkedIn, which then you see who's looked at your profile. And if it's someone new, then you can go to them and say, hey, you looked at my profile. Let's connect. Yeah. Hey, you looked at my profile. Why are you looking at my profile? Oh, you came up in conversation or whatever. You start looking at all of that. So you're specifically going into that one page every day just to write down that number.
Nice.
Yeah. And then you go in and say, right, how many comments am I going to make today? And you write that number down. And there's a few other metrics. But if you go in every single day and do those metrics, you do not want to break the habit. And then every single day that improves. And I promise you, by the end of a week of being with me on my workshop, the number of views to your profile has increased. So more people are looking at your profile just in the space of a week. But it's that habit, Alexis.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. But I like that other point there where you say actually put it in the diary. So if it's the 9 a.m., that 9 a.m. slot, so that it happens, because that's a coping strategy I've used for a long time for all aspects of all the things that I struggle to turn to habits and so on. So I have it in my diary in the same way that if I said to someone, right, I want you to, come with me to a networking event this afternoon or tomorrow, you go, it's a bit awkward. I've got calls, I've got things that are on. Whereas if I say put it in your diary once a month from 3 months from now, every, first Monday or whatever, you're likely to be able to put it in. And guess what? When it rolls around, you haven't booked anything else in, and then it's easy to drive to the networking event and go. And that's an example where you'd free up a full day plus the commute and so on. Whereas we're saying that over the course of I don't know whether it's 5-day week or 7-day week for 15 minutes a day on LinkedIn.
You don't do anything at the weekends.
Okay, cool.
All right. So here's the thing.
So we're talking an hour and 15 minutes per week by doing it 5 times a week, rather than a full day of networking and so on to create that.
Correct. But the thing is, Alexis, that's 65 hours a year.
Right. Yeah. It's completely manageable. It's really just about making sure it's that little bit each time. And I like the idea of, using that spreadsheet to help you establish it as the daily habit, both through tracking that you've done it, but also tracking your results, I think is really powerful, and using those results to then kick off the next action. I think it's golden. I could talk to you happily about loads more on this and dig down to all different areas, but we're coming close for time. So I'd like to move on to some quick fire questions for you where it's one sentence answers only, please.
Me, one sentence. Are you serious?
I know it could only be more ridiculous if it was the other way around and it was being asked to me. But we're going to try. So
Okay.
What one thing causes most stress for you?
Trying to get everything done in the day and keep people happy.
How long should business leaders wait or expect until they start to see results from spending 15 minutes on LinkedIn each day?
At least 6 months.
What's the most common reason someone fails to take your advice?
They don't buy into the daily habit and they don't believe that 15 minutes a day actually works.
What book or podcast has been most pivotal for you in changing your life for the better?
Mo Gawdat, I heard him on a podcast ages ago. I don't know if you know Mo Gawdat.
I do. He agreed to come on this podcast, actually. Need to chase him up and get it booked.
Can I come and just sit in the same room? Yeah, I love podcasts. I love books. There's loads and loads and loads. And at one of the events that we were at, Mike Michalowicz and Daniel Priestley were there, and they're two amazing people. But you said change my life. So it's got to be Mo Gawdat. And his book is called Solve for Happy. If we take on board what Mo says, we can be happy. And so many people like working with me because I'm so positive. And it's only because of, I think I was already there anyway, but Mo Gawdat showed me the way.
What's the one thing you want business leaders to take from this episode?
Anyone can do LinkedIn. I've made a job, a business out of it. And I can't write, and I'm just a guy in a shed in Devon. So if I can do it, absolutely anybody can do it.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Well, we'll make sure in the show notes to link to your LinkedIn profile so that people can go and follow you and connect with you there and see your posts. I highly recommend they do that. We'll also link to your channel on YouTube. Anything else we should link to in the show notes?
Definitely that post, because we want people to go and have a look at it and see what all this fuss is about breakfast. So yeah, but I've got a YouTube channel as well, and there's over 700 videos there, and some of those are some real help. And I put a video up on YouTube every single Monday with 5 ideas of what you can write about on LinkedIn. So if you just go and watch those videos every single week, you get some ideas for the week.
Fantastic. Absolutely love it. Well, thank you so much, Ashley. It's been great talking to you about this. I'm going to have to make sure that I leverage both the content you shared today and follow up with you as well, perhaps to input into our playbook around sales and marketing processes, because there's so much on the LinkedIn side. But yeah, thank you so much for your time. You've been absolutely awesome. And to everyone else, thanks so much for listening. If you found this episode useful, then please do share it on social media. What a perfect post for you to do for your 15 minutes today. You can share a key takeaway and tag us in. Tag me and Ashley in. We would really appreciate it. But otherwise, until next time, have fun.